to move over because the equal accountability smoke just doesn't extend to one person. And the upcoming interview that we recorded last night with me and Charleston White, Charleston literally addresses Ja Morant in a very matter-of-fact way. So I can't wait to get that over to you guys over in the Patreon. If you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Again, thank you to you guys that continue to support me in Cash App and Super Chat. I'm going to be continuously reading those throughout the show before I go and catch my flight. But we got a couple things that we want to address, right? And we don't want to just leave it on the women. We want to leave it on the men. And I'm going to help you guys understand why it's important for us to make sure that we're at the top of our game 100% of the time. Because not only do you have to deal with women that's trying to tear you down, sometimes our own wounds are self-inflicted. Let's continue.
A number of troubling accusations surrounding Grizzlies star Ja Morant have now been made public. According to the Washington Post, Morant allegedly threatened a Memphis mall security guard during a parking lot altercation this summer. And in a separate incident 4 days later, Morant was accused of punching a 17-year-old boy in the head repeatedly during a pickup game at Morant's house. According to deputies who observed the injuries, Morant and a friend hit the teen hard enough to send him to the ground and left him with a large knot on the side of his head. The boy told detectives that Morant went into his house and reemerged with a gun visible in his waistbands of his pants, but Morant told the police that the teenager was the aggressor in the incident and that he was acting in self-defense.
Let's pull up Ja Morant's earnings specifically. Just for context. Right now, Ja Morant earns the equivalent of about $10 million a year. 21-22, he earned $10 million a year. Ja Morant just signed a 4-year, or he had signed a 4-year, $39 million contract, including a 4-year, $39 million contract, and all of it was guaranteed on an average of $9.9 million a year. His rookie signing was $27 million, and he's going to get the max salary. It looks like probably close to $200 million plus. Oh, snaps. He signed an extension. Let's come back to this. Because I really want to understand, or I want you to understand how it is that it's a possibility for you to fumble the bag if you're not going about doing this the right way, right? Let's look at this. Let's break it down, ladies and gentlemen. So according to this, he signed a 5-year rookie max extension, and this was last year. 5 years, $193 million. Extension can become worth $231 million. Also, interestingly enough, just signed a partnership with Powerade, first athlete in more than 5 years. So he's definitely getting money. And we want you to get money. But then when we have to deal with something completely different from that, which is specifically you getting into altercations in which you pulling guns out on 17-year-olds, we're not even going to talk about the whole idea that he running with an entourage that feels comfortable enough to point lasers at the staff when they get into it. Now, one thing that we have in the black community is we have an alternative example in order to illustrate how you're not supposed to do things, right? So we got the path that he's on. Very much Michael Vick-ish, very much lawsuit-ish, very much I want to be a thug, but I was really raised in a good home and I went to phenomenal schools, but I want to start to pretend like I'm something that I'm not and I'm running with the wrong crowd, right? Got the whole world at your feet. Literally has the potential to be a billionaire. And instead of you being more like LeBron James, you want to be Tyrone James. Instead of you being more like LeBron James, you want to be Tyrone James. Now, one of the reasons why it's important for us to have this conversation, family, one of the reasons why it's important for us to have this conversation is because we can learn from this on our own. A lot of us will never, ever, ever get to the point to where we're 100 millionaires, even a decamillionaire, but you very much have an opportunity to become a millionaire. It is realistic. It is something that is not out of the realm of possibility as millionaires is being made in the black community every single day. But the one thing that we have to shed as kings, as leaders, and it doesn't matter if you wanted to be an influence on your community or not, the one thing that we have to shed is this nigga mentality that we continue to embrace. And the funny thing about this whole situation is that as his entourage is pointing lasers, fucking up his money and putting him in a bad position, as he continued to fight and then go into the house and pull guns on 17-year-olds allegedly, while simultaneously signing maximum contracts and getting endorsement deals from Powerade, as he does this, we have to take into consideration that the people that's really, really from the hood and live that life, they don't even want to be there. They struggling to get out of it. You know how they say that you can't take him out the hood, or you can take him out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of him? He don't even got no hood in him. He not even really about that life. He never even was really living it. Listen. I was raised in the hood, but I had a phenomenal family. I had a phenomenal tribe. I had a phenomenal father. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a hood when we originally became that, but because Detroit made such a descent and a plummet into what it turned out to be all the way up until 2008, the decimation of the black community in the neighborhoods in which we lived in wasn't even supposed to be that way. But the one thing that I realize is that I'm not that. I'm not built to go to jail. I'm not interested in hanging out with the people that's going to take me down. I would rather go out here and be a reflection of what my father taught me in order to be. So if he got great people in his household or great people that surrounding him that raised him to do things the right way, wouldn't you not want to embrace that and then be a reflection of the thing that you would advocate other people to be? Or is it all fun and games and you too young to really understand the responsibility that comes with success? But this isn't even really about Ja Morant. This is about you. Because we idolize and we pedestalize a lot of these people. And we talk about how much we love them. And we buy tickets to their games. And we continue to fund their salary. And we watch them. And we buy their jerseys. And we subconsciously press onto our children that these are our heroes by continuously having these people in the front of or at the forefront of what the community looks like. With great power comes great responsibility, and we cannot continue to subject ourselves to the worst among us. One person that I like even more, I love LeBron. LeBron is absolutely, positively my GOAT. And I'm a little bit ashamed to say that because my GOAT from a basketball perspective is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest player of all time. I also think that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James when it comes to being on that Mount Rushmore. But LeBron is certainly a number 3. My number 3 when it comes to basketball. But when it comes to being a reflection of the thing that we want in our community, which is much more important than what it is that we're looking at from a basketball perspective, and I'm a basketball fan. When it comes to being a reflection of the thing that we advocating for our community to be, he is number 1, undisputed, the GOAT. He is number 1. Married his high school sweetheart. Phenomenal father. Took the people that he grew up with as far as his inner circle, and every last one of them are well-spoken, rich, and professionals. Now, I may not necessarily agree with everything that LeBron says when it comes from a political perspective or from a black perspective, but I'm absolutely willing to look at it objectively enough to say that this man is not a baby daddy. He don't get caught up in scandals. He don't get caught up in issues. He don't do things that embarrasses his family and then thus after that embarrasses the people that actually love and support him and put money in his pocket. Why do we not celebrate the LeBron Jameses, but we continue to advocate for the Ja Morants, who's obviously on a slippery slope, on his way to getting into some trouble or fucking up a bag at the least? We need to choose better heroes so that we can then have better examples to be able to hold accountable the thing that we actually want, or to hold up the thing that we want our community to look like. And I guarantee you, there is nobody more willing or wishing for probably LeBron James's downfall more than a Cynthia G. A woman like Cynthia G can't wait for a man like LeBron James to fall, because she's never, as far as some of the minimal amount of research that I've done, she's never actually placed an example of what it is that the women really want to see from the black community. They're not equal opportunity smoke givers. They don't actually give us the real game on what it is that women is really looking for, and they don't highlight the men that are winning in the community. You know what they do? They call them corny, like Michael B. Jordan. They say we don't really want to fuck with them dudes. And then they get mad when those other type of dudes that didn't want to even fuck with them dudes impregnate them and leave them as baby mamas. Y'all don't want the Michael B. Jordans. Y'all think he lame and he corny. Y'all don't celebrate and highlight the LeBron James. Too much of a good thing for the black community and advocating for the thing that we should be. You know what y'all like? Nigga shit. Wholehearted nigga shit. Man, it's a difference between black people and niggas. Why can't we do better? Why can't we go about doing things the right way? How come everywhere that we go, we got to ruin it, we got to mess it up, from what's going on in the NBA all the way to what's going over in the Dominican Republic? Why can't we just get our act together and then we advocate for and then we highlight the things that's best for us? What's wrong with shaming? What's wrong with shame culture? What's wrong with bringing shame back into what it is that we stand for? Why are we so interested in the people and the ones that's doing the things that's worse for us? I can't understand it for the life of me. But we're going to have a come to Jesus moment in 2023. All year long, we're going to be equal accountability partners. We're going to hold each other accountable, myself included. I'm not above it. I'm not above coming back and saying, you know what, I apologize, or you know what, I messed up, I need to do better, let me go. Y'all have seen me do it on this show multiple different times. Y'all have seen me do it on this show multiple different times, myself included. We will push each other in love. We will hold each other accountable in love. And we will get rid of the things that, when divest ourselves against the things that we dislike the most. Come on, get it together, Ja. Get it together.